Good morning once again, everybody. It is late summer here on Griffin, Indiana, and we've got ourselves a little bit of a busy day today. But first, this video is brought to you by Terra Farming. Thank you for being a farm baron. The first order of business is we've got a lot of silage bales. We need to get moved off the grass field. Let me see if I can't squeeze through here. Ugh, getting big. Oh, I need to get on a diet. We gotta get all of these glorious pink mushrooms or marshmallows off the grass field so that the grass can continue to grow, because hopefully we're gonna be in a position to mow grass soon and get our second cut. And then in addition to that, our soybeans have come up out of the ground, so we need to get those fertilized. And given the fact that we've got just $10,000 to work with, well, we're going to probably have to do some contract work later this afternoon to try to make up for that little cash shortage. So that's what we've got in store today. It's still a little bit wet, but hopefully it won't rut up the field here too terrible much. Let's go ahead and just check our weather forecast. Today we've got good clear skies, sunny skies this evening. Tomorrow we've got cloudy skies. That is the first day of autumn. Thursday, second day of autumn, is good to go. Hopefully that is going to be our harvest window for our soybeans. And Friday we've got rain in the forecast. So again, hopefully next Wednesday we'll be harvesting our soybeans. Then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, well, there's your winter right there. Once again, clear. We have really not had all that much bad weather so far with our gameplay here on Griffin, Indiana. Now, I have had some folks ask if I am using the Griffin, Indiana Geo, and, well, the answer is, of course. So we are using the custom geo that is available for the map. Why we don't have snow, I don't know. Maybe the geo just doesn't have a huge percentage of snow in the winter. I'm not from Indiana, so I really don't know what the average snowfall or the general percentage of snowfall is for Indiana. To know if the odds have been against us or for us with respect to just the lack of general snow that we have seen. Now we've got a bale here that's sneaking off in the woods. Let's see if we can't grab him. There we go. Just was able to get in there. I don't think we damaged too much. Maybe scratched the tractor up a little bit, but you know what? This thing's been scratched up a lot. I've been thinking about maybe getting it repainted this winter. It's held us pretty good. We've got nearly 46 hours on this tractor. All right, well, let me go ahead and get this picked up, and I'll come back a little bit later and show you where we are with our progress. And we're just finishing up our 4th load, so that's 96 round bales. We've been stacking them over here on the fence line by the road. It should be fairly easy to then get picked back up this winter when we want to sell these things. And at the same time, giving us plenty of room to mow the grass around it and not lose too much product from where we're putting these bales. We just get lined up here and see if we can't get them offloaded. Being the person I am, I'd like to get them a bit more straighter than that, but you know, there's only so much you can do without being a little bit too much wasteful on your time. So it's Fact Sheet Friday again. So of course, as I've mentioned, I record these ahead of time, and this video releases before the fact sheets release, so we really can't talk about the fact sheets that released today because, well, I don't know what those fact sheets were. Alright, well, we'll just have to get that bale later. But there's been some pretty interesting things come out in the fact sheets over the last few weeks, for sure. Really get you kind of excited and interested in trying out some of this new machinery and vehicles, like the snow groomer turned silage leveler. That thing looks like a beast. It ought to be a blast to run. Plenty of horsepower, big old blade in front, big tracks. It's heavy. So that's like a complete diversion from how we've done silage in the past, right? You know, we've used either a big wheel loader with duals on the front and back, or duals on the front to compact it at the BGA. We've used a big tractor with duals on the front and back, again, to have a lot of weight and surface area on the silage to help compact it. But yeah, specialty purposed vehicle. I mean, it's kind of expensive, but if you're running a big time BGA operation on a map, then you know, hopefully it's got a little bit of a bonus on its compaction time frame, so you can really just get that bunker leveled, compacted, and move on to the next thing. Japanese tractor manufacturer in game. I mean, I kind of alluded to it in the fact sheet video for that week, but I mean, that's a lot of pointing to possibly a some sort of Japanese map coming up. We do have the season pass, and phase 4 of the season pass is a expansion with a map. People have been guessing and speculating at what type of a map that would be. You know, some speculations have been Australia, South America, but right now my money's on Asia, on an Asian style map. It's a new market to farm sim, and what better way to really attract more players in an emerging market than to put a map out with a bunch of specialty equipment for maybe a crop that is fairly well known in that region of the world. So that's right, I'm talking about rice. And I'm talking about an Asian map. So there's very specific rice hardware to plant rice, to harvest rice. You know, we've seen maps that have included the ability to flood the fields, because rice is typically grown in a flooded field, and then you drain the field As I understand it, when it comes time to dry the crop out and harvest it, we've seen maps that you can drain fields and flood fields for rice, but we really haven't seen rice specific equipment that much. So that would bring all that in. You know, we've got the addition of olive and grape specific equipment in FS22 base game. But at this point, it's all really just speculation. What do you all think might be that expansion map coming in winter of 22? Basically the end of the first year's season pass. Interesting to see if there's other theories out there. So 96 plus another 24 bales, so that is 120 bales right here. And I think there might be a handful of bales left, so I'm going to go ahead and get those collected, and talk to you here in a little bit again. So I completely forgot about the fact that you don't need to fertilize soybeans, right? I talked about at the start of the video that we were going to pick up the bales, get the field cleared, because we're hopefully going to be mowing that in early autumn. And then I was going to go do some fertilizing on our soybeans, completely blanking on the fact that you don't need to fertilize soybeans. In fact, I hooked up the spreader, which we're using now. Went over there and started fertilizing field 1, and I was like, why is nothing coming out? Well, nothing's coming out because nothing was needed. So here we are on field 9, doing a contract. This contract's going to pay me 40 grand. And we pretty much spent all our money on fertilizer. I've got $3,000 left in the bank. I think I could probably buy one more pallet of fertilizer. There we go. Now we are now topped out. No more money. I did top off our fuel tank on the tractor yesterday. Our last video. After recording that video, I realized we're running on fumes. We need to fuel back up, so I did do that. So we don't have to worry about running out of gas and not being able to, pay for that. But, yeah, we're over here on field 9, harvesting some fairly tall corn. I mean, we typically wouldn't be doing this, obviously, IRL, because we'll just be destroying so much corn. And at this stage in the corn's growth, fertilizing ain't going to do nothing for it, other than just be wasteful product, right? But, you know, it's a game. That's the way we play. Yeah, we're going to finish this up. And what we do need to do is we do need to get a sprayer. And I've got a tote of herbicide from last year, or from the spring, really. I've got a tote of herbicide from the spring that we need to spray our fields for weeds, at least. And everything, since the crop has emerged. I usually like to spray herbicide after emergence. Of course, all that's going to change in FS22. Don't really know how we're going to have to do crop care in Farm Sim 22. So I decided to just go ahead and buy a sprayer and everything. So we're down to $16,000. But like I was saying, I really don't know what we're going to need to do as far as, you know, general field care in FS22. It's going to be a whole lot of relearning things. A whole lot of figuring out what is different between 19 and 22. And in 19, we had weeds for the first time. It took a little experimenting and learning, basically how to work with weeds. You know, in 17 we had weeders, but they basically just did a fertilizing layer. So they were basically like free fertilizer, if you will. Own a weeder and you can fertilize forever at no cost. Not too bad on the bales, but I don't know. I'd like to see them done a little bit cleaner than that. Then in 19, we actually had a use for weeders to remove weeds. Almost makes you think maybe weeds were going to be a part of 17 and just didn't make it. And then we had, you know, the inclusion of herbicide with the inclusion of weeds. And overall, we learned that if you spray herbicides, you can pretty much preemptively prevent weeds from occurring across the entire field, as well as, you know, getting rid of weeds. We learned with weeders, you can get rid of small weeds, but you can't get rid of fully grown weeds with weeders. But in 22, it sounds like there's going to be a whole new dynamic to weeds. And it sounds like there's going to be a dynamic around how you work the field, maybe with respect to if weeds come back, or maybe how quickly or how maybe concentrated the weeds return. With respect to, you know, if you no-till, probably weeds are going to come back quicker or maybe denser. If you lightly scratch the surface with a cultivator or a disc, then quite possibly, you know, weeds are going to come back sooner than later. If you do more deep tillage, then quite possibly weeds are going to either not return, or they're going to return thinner than they might normally. Now, I did an update. I did a mod update on this particular tractor. And there we go. That's why we went from having a 3-point to having a front weight. But you can see we bought the Hooverland front spray tank. We bought the Hooverland sprayer. I configured this with, I think, 24-meter boom. And I bought a tank of herbicide. I've got 300 liters of herbicide up at the main farm. So we'll see if we need to make use of that or not. Owning the new field, I just don't know if we're going to need to, I don't know how much herbicide we need to spray all 3 of our fields now. If 2,000 liters will do us, or if we're going to need more than that. But I do have 300 liters or so of herbicide up at the main farm, so we can top our sprayer off when we get back up there. Rocks are a thing. If you look at the main game website, so if you go to the farmingsimulator.com website and you go to games, right, you're taken to the page where you can pre-order FS22. But if you scroll down, and I don't know how many people know about this, but if you scroll down, you'll see a big table of brands. And they update that every Friday. Today's Friday. It's updated today. So go check it out after the fact sheets drop. Some period of time around then or after the fact sheets drop, they update that manufacturer table. And if you click on a manufacturer, you'll see below it a listing of vehicles or implements that are going to be in FS22. And every week they let a little bit more out as far as what's coming in FS22. Well, I don't remember the brand off the top of my head, but we've seen the fact sheet with the stone picker, that big stone picker, the powered machine. Well, there's another brand that has 2 more stone collectors available now for the game, and they look to be a cheaper option. They look to be a bit more maybe self-powered by just pulling them through the field. It didn't look like they were, hugely PTO operated or anything, but yeah, the ability to collect stones and how that is ultimately going to affect our gameplay, because we've got the idea and the concept, as I understand it, is that as you drive over rocks in a field, then your wear and tear on your machinery will increase. So I'm not bad with it, but I typically don't do a lot of maintenance on my machinery, as you can probably tell. Looking at the wrench gauge, we're sitting at 85% wear on our tractor, and of course the sprayers are 0.2%. We just bought them. So yeah, I typically don't do a lot of maintenance on my stuff because, well, the game as it exists in 19 doesn't really penalize you for not doing maintenance. So I just never think about it. In Farm Sim 17 with seasons, every 30 hours you had to do maintenance, or your machine would just spontaneously cut off. You might be driving and then it just cuts off. And you might try to start it and it might be a little bit difficult to start. So, kind of the engine gets unreliable. So, to kind of prevent yourself from being conceptually stranded out in the middle of the field while you're trying to get some work done, you would do maintenance on your tractor every 30 engine hours. Or if it was an implement, you would do maintenance after 30 hours of operation. They didn't continue that in seasons with FS19, so really there is no negative to not doing maintenance. There was that concept of that your engine would lose power, but I have not really seen that happen, so I don't know if that was urban legend or really where that all came about, as far as, if you don't maintain your powered equipment, they would lose power over time. Now we do see that, and I think it's been demonstrated, that headers will run slower if they're not maintained, and it may or may not have been demonstrated that headers you'll harvest less crop if they're not maintained. I don't know about the last one. The last one might be a little bit of an urban legend also. So it'll be interesting to see if maintenance becomes more of a thing in 22 because of that stone mechanic, or if it just causes the maintenance to increase. But again, a fully worn vehicle, does it work the ground less? If you have a fully worn, if you have a worn seeder, does it cause certain patches of the ground not to take seed? That would be interesting. If you have a worn baler, it'd be cool if every so often you would just spew out loose bale. That would be one, annoying, and two, about as realistic as probably some players are wanting to get with respect to bales. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how some of these new game mechanics are going to come to the game and how they're going to be different than what we're used to in Farm Sim 19. Well, with this field nearly done, We've consumed just about 800 liters of herbicide. So, are we going to be... We might need to go get a second pallet of herbicide, it looks like, in order to have enough for the big field up by the farm. Let's go see how much we've got left after on the field just down the road here, on the other side of the bridge. Now, what I'd be interested to know from you guys is of the machinery listed on the website under games. Again, that matrix of machinery that's down there. Of that and of the machinery and vehicles that they have released on fact sheets to date. What piece of machinery, what vehicles are you kind of planning to try out first? That's what I'm interested to know. What have they announced, either through fact sheets or basically the machinery table, that interests you the most and you're most looking forward to kind of trying out as soon as you can in game? At this point, I'm not really sure if I have that. I mean, definitely the silage leveler machine, former snow groomer, is something that is really interesting and would be interesting to kind of experience and use. The small baler is kind of cool looking. The Arcusin small bale stacker looks really, really cool. You know, some of the more unique aspects of the game, like maybe, you know, collecting stones. It'd probably be exciting the first time, maybe the second time, but after that, probably not so much. Production, right? Production is probably at the top of a lot of people's lists. No one vehicle or implement, just eager to get in and try the production and really understand and see how that really works as compared to how it's been described to work. See, we have used half of what we had. Let's go ahead and buy another tote of herbicide. We're going to need that for sure up on the other field. I'm going to just continue to go ahead and spray this field. I'm going to go grab that tote of herbicide and get the other field sprayed, and that's where we're going to end it for today's video. Thank you all for coming out and watching. Hope you all are enjoying the continued 3-day seasons gameplay here on Griffin, Indiana. This video officially puts us halfway through. No, we're more than halfway through. We were halfway through when we started year 3. What am I thinking? This video puts us halfway through year 3. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. So we've got a year and a half to go in gameplay until Farm Sim 22 arrives. So until next time, happy farming.